listen to all this stuff. You enjoy it. My brother, enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll go and see. I don't know what happened to the lights. We had a little technical difficulty the last few days, so.
Well, so that's what it is. We got to be in business. Oh, yeah.
We got John here. That's all, man. Public on that. Not six yet.
How's it going? You doing okay?
Good, good.
All right, 6 o'clock. Call the Manchester Water and Sewer Board. First agenda is roll call.
Mayor Fox,
Here.
Commissioner Hutt,
Here.
Commissioner Hilsman,
Here.
Alderman Crosland,
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick, Alderman Parsley, Commissioner,
Well, you.
yes, thank you, I was trying to.
That was good.
Secretary Hopper isn't here, Director Cole. I'm here, and I'm your billing office coordinator, Jane. Pardon,
Welcome.
thank you.
It's your first meeting, isn't it?
It is my first one.
That it? Okay.
That's it.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Anybody got anything you need to add?
The last meeting of minutes.
Well, that's, we'll get to that, yeah. So if there's, no additions to the agenda, somebody,
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye, please.
Any noes? You know how to follow instructions. There are citizens not comment, I don't know if we've got any citizens that want to comment.
John, got anything?
That's John. Your water bill okay, John?
I have a tub.
Okay. All right. Now, to review the previous minutes, if everybody's, first off, we need a motion to dispense with reading the minutes. Somebody wants to-
I'll make a motion to dispense with reading.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Okay. We've got two, yeah. You know, amend that motion to dispense with reading both minutes. Yeah, could you, we'll sign them. Let's see, well, Ben's not here, so just be me signing. Okay. I guess we're ready for the mayor's report.
So I handed you guys out, a bit of information here. The first one, we reviewed, the grants that we have going in our last meeting. I just want to let you know that we added number 10. So we have number 10 is, I-24 Industrial Site Engineering Grant. That is a state, grant. We're gonna start putting out requests for quotes for services and all those things. And what this is, it's a $6 million grant. program that's free. They will visit with us, they will help us, it's through TDEC, just at our site at the plant. And you guys can read all that information. I just wanted you to have it. I'm a little behind on getting this information to you guys, okay? The next one is a February, should have been February 4th, if I put your packet together correctly, maybe. This was some certified mail that I got. It's about our pre-treatment compliance program. We had, I think it was 8 or 9 notice of violations. They start, I guess, at item number 5. So what I kind of want you to understand here is, so notice of violations mean that we have a pre-treatment program with all the industries, okay? There's rules we have to follow, there's testing that has to be accomplished. All these violations were predating Director Foley, so I want to be clear about that. We haven't had this problem since he's come on board. This was during Harry, Douglas, and Emily Bull's time at running the facility and running those programs. You can read through all those, and then actually on the back, you can see where Director Foley and his team put together all the responses. We sent this letter out March 3rd to TDEC, and this item is considered closed. But I wanted you to see that information and see the letters that were wrote to close that. So the next one is dated February the 10th. This is a complaint concerning an overflow report. On January 26th, we reported that we had 10 overflows throughout the city. I think that was a 3.5 to 4 inch rain cycle. So at that time, Lonnie's team, they drive around, we check all the manholes as best we can. How many manholes do we have? 2,000 or something? I mean, we do what we can. So what happened in this letter is we reported 10. We had a citizen who found 4 more for us, and instead of calling us and discussing it and letting us know to report them, she reported them for us. Okay? So part of this, you can see our response back to them, because in their letter, they want us to, provide details on how citizens should report observed overflows during normal or non-business hours. So you can see our response back to them. We contacted the individual who helps us report all of our problems. We give them the numbers, we give them emails, and said, hey, we're not trying not to report them. If you see something we don't, or if you see some and you're curious if we reported them, hey, just let us know, right? We're gonna do our business and we're gonna report them, okay? So you guys can see, that one has been closed as well, okay? Then the last one that I give you is the new, TDEC order, that came out. It's dated February the 10th. And I'm not gonna read it all to you. We had some meetings with TDEC on Friday. Alderman September, October, and we're committed to fixing these versus just saying, hey, we're gonna get worse. The other part of it that I wanna review with you is, you know, some of the media folks, right? They read the part they wanna read, and then they put the headline out as they like for it to be read, so that they can entertain the citizens and all those things. The crux of the matter is it was put out that we are fined, $146,000. The reality is, we have a fine of $29,200, okay? It lists in here very specific things with timelines, for us to do. For instance, we have 31 days to send them a report on all of the taps we put in place in 24 and 25 or committed to. If we don't do that by March 15th, which we're compiling that data now to send out, they will fine us $20,000, okay? We have no intention of being fined any more than $29,200, all right? But if we said we're not gonna comply with any of this stuff, right, the next date is April 27th of 2026, we could be fined another $20,000 if we don't do what they ask us by then. It's laid out very clear with timelines and everything, and we intend to do every one of those, right, Lonnie? We don't intend to be fined $146,000. But that's probably not as good of reading as saying that we were fined $146,000, and would the mayor please pay that for us, since he give out 7 taps, okay? So let's be clear. I want to make that very clear tonight, right? No intention of us being fined $146,000 for what we didn't do. Now, if you want to go back in history just a tad bit, we came off of the TDEC moratorium March 15th of 2024. Okay? We went under a self-imposed moratorium that meant we self-governed ourselves based on the I and the flow we took out. We could add taps back. Okay? Under the last director, he got us put back on it. So we can thank Mr. Perry when we see him for that great work he did in his time helping us here. So, you know, I get tired of everybody blaming everybody, but the facts are the facts. We came off of it, hired a new director, now we're back on it, and all of our violations in the last 6 months are because they weren't doing their job. So, that's my report for tonight, and I will take questions about this, because at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on the internet from people who have no idea the challenges and the things that we face on a daily basis in water and sewer. You know, I think for the last 12 to 16 months, all we have heard is that our sewer plant has got to be brand new or we're never gonna be worth a crap here. And let's be clear, our sewer plant, at 2/3 of the year, this is some interesting information for everybody that I probably should not know, but I do. Manchester receives rain 114 to 120 days a year. So does everybody know when the overflows happen? When it rains. So the other 2/3 of the year, our system runs at 50% capacity, right? We won't have any overflows. Pretty good news, right? I mean, it's not like the naysayers all say to us every day, right? But, you know, like I said, a lot of misinformation, a lot of bad stuff. The other part of it is that Loma, everything you guys approved, about $700,000 worth of equipment was passed. We started signing POs today. Those things are being purchased and put into place. The truck that we passed, they bought it today. I don't know when he gets it. We talked about 2 grants. One that is an ARC grant for the tower out at the industrial park. All that paperwork goes to the federal government, and if it's not correct, guess what that means? They don't approve the grant. So everybody everybody saying that we didn't do our business right, and we didn't get the right quotes, and we didn't do all these things, I got bad news for them. We do it correctly every time. Now, the other one is an EDA grant that you guys passed in 2023. It took the federal government 3 years to award us $2.5 million. Even found all that paperwork for everybody, okay? Because, you know, it just gets a little old fighting the same fights. And if we could figure out how to talk about the good things this commission and the city does to help improve what we have, would go a long way, okay? But thank you guys for your work last month, everything that you did and you approved, almost said yes to. We got those things coming, and it will only continue to make us better at what we're trying to get accomplished.
Mayor, can I say one thing?
Sure.
You know, our sewer plant not running correctly.
Mhm.
And I took it at right there. So we got to the point where we didn't have no one to run the sewer plant. We went back with the mayor and we've been running it for 25 to 30 years. Am I correct about that?
So Paul Costin is, in a advisory role, to help Lonnie's, we got 5 technicians now. We've hired 5 technicians with water license and everything. And he is training them to run it correctly, because when he came back, the report that he filed with me was we were creating our own problems and our own notice of
That's the point that
violations.
I'm trying to make.
Yes. So
Was it from inexperience, not knowing what they're doing?
probably best that I don't answer that.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
don't
Doug,
think
I'm
there's
not trying
anything
to
wrong
be-
with asking the
Well,
question.
there's not, and listen, the reality is, we had some very inexperienced people. We only had 1, maybe 2, and according to the report I got, they were running the plant wrong. It was causing ammonia problems because they were packing out every day versus every 5th day or every 6th day. We just were, once he came in, within a week or so, Lonnie, would you say we had it pretty well straightened back out? Then we were able to start hiring people with the correct license. And listen, he's got a great team down there. We have a great relationship with TDEC. They have come and audited us since then. You don't see a letter on violations other than the ones that we couldn't go back and fix because they didn't do their job at the time. Everything going forward has been correct. You know, it's not a blame game, not saying it ain't my fault, I was the mayor, but look, at the end of the day, we weren't doing some of the right things, and we were trying to put the blame in the wrong areas. The plant is not our problem within the city at this moment. We do have a lot of issues at the plant that were maintenance related. As you can tell, we spent $500,000 to catch trash that was getting into the plant. Once we get that installed, we'll get the 8-foot sludge out of the bottom so we can use all of the plant. I mean, it's that simple. Our problems are in collections. Our problems are in sewer lines, right? There's not a lot we can do other than to keep working. Lonnie has 2 teams a day that go out. They tack the problems from root control. Next month in my report, I will be bringing you a presentation from them, you know, to show you exactly, and they tell us there's roots and everything are broke inside the line is collapsing. Lonnie and his team goes out and fix that. The bigger projects are the grant money, and we replace big, long sections of lines. We did 2 projects last year, and we replaced, Adam, 4,600 feet of line.
Maybe a little more than that, but yeah.
Okay, that's huge, right? That's our big lines that run through the city that everything flows into, and that's big. But the things we can do internal from the roots part of it, the Duke's root control part, is when they see it's leaking at a manhole or a connection, we do point repair. We don't just let it stack up and have a whole crappy workload. No, we go out every day and we try to get some of that done now, as it's told to us. Previously, I think there's a big stack left from blast section in there, Lonnie. Right now, I mean, the other part is we implemented City Works, which is our asset management programs, right? And now the work orders are generated through it. They're not written on, I mean, now we have a process, and we know how we get there. But the good news is we're starting to see at the plant level, when normal days were 2-point-something million gallons, we have days now where we treat less than 2 million gallons. And that's just groundwater on dry days, right? So that tells us that groundwater's quit getting in because we're fixing things. So we'll also present the 3-year plan that we turned into TDEC to continue to fix our system by bolting onto what has currently been fixed versus jumping around the city fixing little things. That's what Lonnie's people are doing. They're fixing to start a project that's how many feet, Lonnie, from manhole to manhole? Yeah, he'll talk about it here in a minute, but that's something internally we can do that's a 10-inch pipe or 12-inch pipe, not 24 inches. So those are the things that we're gonna start attacking because we have the information now to tell us where the worst part of the city is, and that's where we should be working, day in and day out, right? So.
Absolutely. Well, I've got another question, but it's probably,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
We've been told that our plant, our sewage wastewater plant is, we've heard different numbers. For, I know the last 2 to 3 years, it's maybe 2.5 million gallons a day. What is the capacity of the plant that we have now?
So when Grady Maloney updated the plant and did their upgrades 10 years ago,
Something like that.
we upgraded to 4.3 million gallons a day.
Okay, but now.
Wofford Engineering came in and did a study and said that really no, your capacity is 3.8. Well, it may be today until we get the 8 foot of sludge out of there. And it'll go back to 4.3, which is what it was designed for.
So it's not like it's overloading the plant?
No, our overloads at the plant are sure maintenance related issues. Pumps, you guys been on tours. I went on a tour when I was in Albany, right? They showed you everything was broke. Last tour, I didn't even make it to the last tour. I'm not sure who did. Was it fixed? No. Told you the same motors, the same things. We're broke. We're not doing that today. We're fixing them. The guys, the 5 techs that we have at the plant, not only do they test things every day, they do routine maintenance on the plant every day. So, just a different philosophy. I think it's a better understanding of the processes and things that we have. And look, we're getting better. We're not there, obviously.
I've always.
It's gonna be one for the rest of the city's life.
Oh, yeah.
Because as you move around and you fix the oldest stuff, 10 years goes by and the new stuff starts. And it's gonna be a continued cycle, but where I think we hit a rut over the last whatever is actual planning. Looking out 3, 5, 10 years. And that's what we're starting to do from big projects to little projects. We had a great conversation this week, about different types of fixes, versus tearing roads and yards and everything else up and putting in new pipes. There's other technology that's come a long way to where you can go in and I forgot the name already. I've read about it for 2 days. Yeah, and what it is it's a resin and you put it down through here and also you expand it. It encapsulates all the roots, all the breaks and everything. And we didn't tear up any road or anything, and we can get 10 to 15 years out of that. Yeah, cure in place, there you go. That's what I couldn't get out of my mind. But I mean, that's good technology. The problem is we want to cure in place 200 feet. Well, if we'll plan out, let's give them 4,000 feet, we get a better number. And how many more projects can we get done? See, that's what we've been missing, to be perfectly honest, is the planning side of this business. I don't think anybody at that plant or any of the crew or any of its employees don't work
moratorium in March 24.
Yes, sir.
But between then and now, you went back to a state-imposed moratorium?
Yes, I'm back, we just now are fixing to go back on the state-imposed moratorium, because we didn't self-govern ourselves correctly.
Okay, so as of now, we are still from what it was in March 24. We are still self-governed, but about to change.
Yes, it's got, on the call the other day, I told them I was not going to appeal it, and if they wanted to sign me a waiver versus having to wait the 30 or 45 days, I'm ready to go ahead and get started, because it's coming. There's nothing to appeal, the overflows happened, so yes, we're going back under one.
Can you explain to us exactly what that means?
So yes, there's a couple things here, okay? One, we're defining, so our permit says, adding additional flow above a chronic manhole, okay? But part of the order says the system, okay? So once we turn the first set of data into them, we'll be able to define what that means, because under the previous one and under the self-imposed one, anything that was not above a chronic manhole, you could add flow to, okay? The only thing above a chronic manhole, you could not add flow unless you could prove, right, that you fixed the line and you put some, you took out 10,000 gallons to put back 3,000 gallons, just as an example. You couldn't add more flow to anything above a chronic manhole. That's why last year there were 7, I think 4 of them were above chronic manholes, but we had the data to say that 1,200 gallons was okay to put back on the line.
Did you say, is that like a single residence?
Single residence, they
I mean, a tap,
calculate
just
just,
per tap?
yeah, they count
Per tap.
a single resident tap at 300 gallons a day. So I'll be able to define that by the next meeting, because we're trying to get that definition, because of the way it works, you have 2 interceptors, right? One of them collects 2/3 of the sewer in the system, the other one collects 1/3, and one of them really has no chronic manholes on it.
There's Spring Street on the Grindstone Hollow, and then there's the park on Lake Street.
Yes. So both of those, and we're trying to define what we can and can't do without, and we're gonna send everything to them. We're gonna get their buy-in. I mean, we have no problem with that whatsoever, because in the order itself, you'll read, we haven't got, any credit for I-9 since 2022, right, Adam? Okay, so in 2022, you guys signed off on Duke's doing a basin, meter in 20 basins, I can't remember the exact number, that did flow from December to March. So this December, we did the same study, and it'll end it in March. So we'll be able to tell you by basin if we took any flow out of each basin, and then that should help us with what they call a checkbook. If we can prove that we removed 200,000 gallons, we're gonna be able to put X amount of gallons back into the system. So those are all things that will be defined very soon.
I think one other clarification, when the overflows are defined for the violation, they overflows from the sewer plants effluent, or is it within the system that at certain points that go above the threshold, so that's how they're added up to the volumes?
So there's both, just like you said. The ones that are out in the system, right, where a manhole overflows, right, we calculate some gallons to it. And from time to time, when we have really big rains, we may have a disruption at the plant that we have to report.
You add them both.
Yes,
The plants, like I said, it's 4.3.
4.3.
They have a provision for peak flows?
Yes, 12 million, right? It's 12 million. And usually when we have 4 inches of rain, we're around 8 million.
So if it is 8 and 12, then at that point, it is still considered a violation if it is,
Not as long as we don't go over 12
Okay.
or we, yeah,
if it's not over 12, then it's not a violation.
correct. No,
How
no,
is it fine?
I want you to know all you can, right? So I can quit coming to this meeting.
You know,
On these responses to say, you response, all it was, they were requesting?
Yes, I mean,
I mean, you're not waiting on a letter back that says,
I've got the emails back from them,
Okay.
and everything, they are happy with our responses. And like I said, on a couple of them, you'll read Lonnie put different processes in place that satisfied the violations. And the biggest, the 9 were just industrial park violations, where either we didn't do sampling, we didn't sign off on something, or the company was over and we didn't write them a violation. It just, the program itself, for lack of better terms, became non-existent. And since then, we've gone back to what we did that predated the last 2 directors, and St. John Engineering helps us with that. We send them that stuff, they put the reports and stuff together, we verify it, we sign off, we send it to the state. We started trying to do that internally, and we missed it.
last meeting, Mark asked for a list of things to be fixed, so we knew what to be fixed. But we paid Wofford to give us that list a couple of years ago, didn't we? They came and presented a program of the things they,
You talk about it at the plant.
at the plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at the plant.
So what they presented us was a $50 million new plant. And
Wofford?
Yep, yeah, I'll be glad to bring that to the next meeting.
I remember, but I thought they also pointed,
They pointed out 2 items. One was like some modifying of the headworks, right? I think it was $30,000 or $40,000. I think we were supposed to do it, we never did. And then, I can't remember what that, there was 2 small.
well, I'm not the light bulbs.
UV.
UV.
Yep, yep.
The UV, yeah, I knew that was.
But now we fixed that in this last quote.
Right.
Yeah.
This is, probably should have brought this up last month, but the trash screws worked for at least 10 years. Why did they all of a sudden, and we're not the only plant using that type
So,
of system. So what happened?
what happened is we didn't do monthly maintenance at the pumping stations. So any trash that went to this pumping station, we went ahead and pumped it on down, kept pumping it, and pumping it.
Do you think we're overloaded?
Well, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. That's part of it. We pump grease, trash, and everything through the lines. Now, we use the back truck, we suck them out, we clean them every month. We actually have both pumps working in each one of them now. I mean, a lot of this was self-inflicted because of routine maintenance.
Because the maintenance wasn't being performed.
Correct. Lonnie, and if I'm wrong, you speak up, okay? I mean,
I know in years past, we've tried to improve things, and Bowman didn't give us the money, or it wasn't.
and listen, I haven't been here.
I'm not.
No, and I'm just.
I said years past.
Well, and I'm not even disputing of how we got here, you know,
Now,
right?
it doesn't matter.
I really
We're here.
am,
We're here.
yeah, we're here today.
Just what it is, we got people.
I feel extremely good about the direction that Lonnie takes his department on a daily basis. I feel good about BOMA supporting the efforts, and I feel good about you guys giving us ideas to help us get better. Yeah, but I mean, I think that you do have to do a little history lesson to understand how we got here and why we're having to spend so much time cleaning up violations and things that aren't happening, okay? And then the last thing too, and I will quit this time, I promise. Next Wednesday at 5 o'clock, I have, called a town hall meeting for citizens to come here and ask questions about your water and sewer, voice their concerns, yell, scream, whatever makes them feel the best, so that they understand, and give us an opportunity to tell what we're doing to rectify our problems, okay? This internet fighting and all this stuff is not working, folks. It's time that we get the right messaging out to the people, and so I'm willing to sit up here, answer questions. You guys, more than welcome, you don't have to be there, but BOMA asked you guys to be there, and let's just be clear about that.
I'm sure a lot of people don't understand how the water and sewer system works.
That's right.
They don't even understand. There's a lot of people think we're still treating the water.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that we're, yeah,
They don't realize Manchester is a net user because we put water back in the,
yeah.
so, which Elham and Hillsville, well, Elham goes to Elk, Hillsville goes in the ground.
Yeah, one thought I had from the town meeting was, and I saw some posting which made me think, I think the focus initially is, the scope is how the wastewater treatment works, collection, treatment, effluent, propagation, and not have it tied with, well, therefore we must or must not have growth in the city, because I think there are some people, as I understand it, looking at this as to come in and say, well, this therefore means, you know, we were right all along, we don't need growth in the county or the, those two are, in my mind, two separate things. This is a technical description of how the water system works, and maybe also pass on that, you know, what it costs to make a gallon of water versus what it costs to treat a gallon of water. It's a big different number, and maybe bring that out that, so the issue is, this is the system, this is how it works, this is how it can go along, and this is what all the factors go with it. And not with, therefore, we were all right along, we don't need to go, the bottom line of
I am gonna have one slide, and I will send the presentation to you guys at the first of the week, for comments and suggestions, because I'm gonna take the first 30 minutes, and we're gonna do a presentation on exactly the things you're talking about, but one of them will focus on growth. And what I mean by that is, and it's, you know, we know how many permits we give out every year, right? And if you do the calculations and you wanna say there's 4 people per house, okay, for the last 3 years, it's been running in the 60s. 60 new residential homes a year, okay? This year, it did go up to 90, right? 90 new homes with 4 people, that's 27,000 gallons on 2-point-something million. Growth is not causing our problem. Our problem has been in the collection because it's the inner rings to the city that are broken. And we're not growing on the inner part of the city. So I am gonna have one slide about growth, but the rest of it is gonna be on exactly what you said, sir.
In your history, does anybody know when the first sewers was put in Manchester? I've never seen that go.
When they made clay pipes.
I know that they made,
it was back in.
well, they made clay pipes in Roman time.
Well, I mean, and look, part of the smoke testing and stuff we're doing, I mean, we're finding even downtown, right, that the rooftops are still connected to the sewer system. Right, I mean, and that must have been the way that we handled our business at that time. So we're disconnecting those, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, like I said, when you get to, 4 times the amount that you normally treat because it rains, any reasonable person's got to understand we still have breaks and things connected that should not be there, right, so, but.
Well, and these overflow, were those manhole overflow gallons? Lonnie, how did you just estimated that somehow, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's not a meter on it.
yeah, not really. The experience of the operator can tell, and we have some, like little items we go by from experience in different situations that'll show you this is an estimated amount of gallons. If you see it looks like this, an estimated, it looks like this.
And obviously TDEC's okay with.
Yeah, exactly. You get some of their slides that they put together. I mean, it's not just in Tennessee, it's kind of like nationwide as a industry standard. We use the same kind of slides in Texas. Where we're able to look at a picture and kind of guesstimate, this is what this looks like. So it's estimated at this many gallons.
And there again, I mean, you know, it's based on the size of the overflow.
Back in the field days, when Phil was there, we determined that
So, you might get a raise.
The county pays their commission.
They do.
Committees do.
They do, and that's something we're gonna address this coming year, believe it or not, because, some aldermen don't serve on any, the same pay as others who serve on a lot, so.
Anybody else have questions for me? All right, we'll move on to the director report.
Mine is in everybody's package, we just want to review, kind of thick, but we want to kind of just review. Any questions you may have, I can answer.
Hey,
or try
Ryan,
to answer.
I had too much time on my hands that quick, I already figured
You ready
everything,
to?
so. I got just a few simple questions.
Looks like you even bought a highlighter.
Yeah, I had one for yours in there.
You didn't know we
Hey, you talked in there about collecting equipment data for rebuild quotes at North Coffee Booster Station. That's
What page more?
That's on page 11, wastewater facility maintenance.
Oh, yeah, probably, I will. Just in the old, the one right here on the corner.
So,
Because I didn't know there was a North Coffee Booster Station.
down here.
The old water plant, pump station right here, that we're trying to bring the stuff from outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what, it's just a typo,
Okay.
I see that, yeah. And that's in here too, the quotes to try to get that stuff out of there. We had some, issues a couple days ago, distribution went in, water not draining out of that pump like it should. It was over his ankle deep with water and extra lines running through the water. So I still want to make that a priority, just because the pump got repaired, we still need to get out of there ASAP.
So are we gonna be able to just run did you tell me that we could run the pipes back across the bridge and cut that?
So, Duck River Utility talked to Lonnie and I both about that, and they think that if we would put the pipe back under the bridge that just was replaced on 55, that there is enough flow, that you will have to use a pump very seldom. So that is a priority. When that happened, the guys were supposed to have bought the hangers and stuff, and T-Dec was going to install them when they were redoing the bridge. We didn't get the hangers bought, so now
But Paul got dropped over there.
it did.
Yes, I do remember that.
And so now we've got new hangers that we have to get made. But yes, that is a priority to hook that back up. And what Lonnie's doing over there right now is putting in valves, because we still aren't 100% sure how all the water runs. We believe some of it may be running in a circle.
Is that what the hydrostatic valves are for?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
T-Dot's okay with painting it on the bridge?
we have to do it now, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're okay.
Yes, yes. I mean, it was taken
They
down.
agree.
Yeah, it was
Because they
taken
was
down.
gonna put them in before, but we didn't get them ordered and then didn't get here and.
Correct, and then T-Dot had to move on, so, but they would have done the hangers, and all we'd had to do is hang the pipe. But now we've got to install the hangers and put the pipe back on. But that is a priority, because according to the folks that Lonnie and I have talked to, evidently those pumps don't have to run very often when that's together. And so we're gonna find out.
So we still have to have pumps there, right?
I think as a backup plan, right, Adam? Yes. Yeah, it's our backup plan,
So
but
we've got two there now,
yes.
we're gonna have to put two back.
I would think for backup plan, yes, but it's not a priority
Okay.
once we get the pipe in and it flows, because right now the priority is because it's the only thing we have, and the building's so old and stuff. Remember, there was a lot of safety concerns, so we're trying to get the valves installed, get the other pipe in, and just push that project down the road just a little for lack of better terms.
Well, that was kind of where I was headed.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's no need to spend that kind of money on those pumps if we don't have to have them.
Because, I mean, that project has grown from
be something that we could do in-house,
What,
install the pipe back?
across the bridge?
Yes, on the bridge.
I have to look at it, I haven't really looked at it. We took the whole pipe out. But I
Yes,
don't know if
yes, I
it landed
know.
on the bridge or not at the time, or how, what the condition, I mean, if we took it out, we should have put it back in, but, you know, from a safety standpoint, I haven't really
You probably,
reviewed it to see.
you probably get T-Dot to involved, I mean, they won't let you, one thing, let's
No.
stop.
Particularly if you got a ball.
Right now, we're getting
Yeah.
the hangers and stuff, we're getting all that made, and once we get that made, we'll come back to you guys.
Thank you. Listen, I don't know what time, so I got time. Please.
You borrow his outline?
We can share it on the. So then there's two quotes from the North Carolina company. What they, what was about that?
Those quotes,
Yeah,
they are to install, right now, we have no way to shut the water off. We don't know what, their old valves that are broken or missing. These companies, and there was a third one, but they didn't want to be it. These companies can install valves into the line while it's hot and make it shut off, and the valve stays in place. They call them insertion valves, where they can do the work hot, basically. They can cut into the main and put a isolation valve in for us. And that'll be,
it's temporary measure.
no, it's permanent, it'll be permanent. Those particular two companies I've used in the past, the superintendent who works here gave me another quote from another company that's out of Kentucky, or maybe someone they worked with before, but we couldn't get a quote from him. But yeah, those, once you install them, they're in the ground, they're not temporary, they can actually be used if you get the right inserter valve, it's just depending on how much the city is willing to spend.
We got employees can hold their breath one time.
It's no water. Yeah, it's absolutely no water, no
Really?
maintenance, no nothing. It's just pipe exposed, and the device they use actually cuts into the pipe while it's hot. They're able to isolate, make it turn and go off just like a regular valve. One of them, the top comes off.
An ice maker water line.
I've seen that. I don't know how true it is, but I've seen it. Because these guys, like I said, I've seen them do several of them on different types of pipe. And, you know, no incident. Also, I mean, it was so good when we saw it that I actually purchased it at my last utility. We bought the equipment to do it in-house. It's not cheap, but, I mean, it pays for itself if you have a city like Manchester that's old and lots of missing valves or broken valves, valves have been paid, but we don't know where they're at. That comes to the end of it.
difference is the price.
Yeah, the product, while it may be slightly different, it does the same thing. And what we want to do is shut the water off, and be able to have it shut off and turn it on as we need to.
So it's a no-brainer then, right?
Yeah. These guys, the train runs out of Florida.
It's so simple that Thomas Crossing can make a motion for it.
Well, if you want to talk with them, so I'll, Chair will entertain a motion to approve this contract.
I'll make the motion.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
So we will push this to budget and finance, and then, this is below the threshold, so it can come out of budget and finance if you guys approve it without having to vote.
Tommy, is there anything else we need to, a motion for, as far as your,
No, sir, not,
this, okay.
cut it short, but the least broke.
We expect that. All right. Next is, budget review. Who's that?
Anthony, he doesn't come to these meetings, does he?
I mean, we can get him to come to the next one. We do supply, the current one, not like I did a couple times ago. We got Anthony running. It does.
Get the right one.
It does. And I think you guys can kind of review it, and then we'll have Anthony, at the next one. And then, but everything is pretty much on the right pace and track. We don't have anything that looks like, we're gonna have overruns or anything this year. So we should get, now, there again, each item, each line item, understand we may have some over, we'll have some under, but the overall financial number, they're on the right track.
Are we running pretty good on the sales of water? I mean, is that about where we ought to be? Because I'm just glancing at this, current budget's got 1.6 million. We're 3/4 of the way through the budget year, and we're at 56.87%. Am I right?
You are, but now, part of that you need to understand is we lost half a year in the increase, and when we put the budget together, we had planned on the increase.
Okay.
So we,
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
This is the wrong day. It's got March 31st, it should be February 28th.
I didn't print this one, this is.
I'm not blaming you.
Joe, right.
But as you got right here,
He probably ran the report to the end of the month to catch everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not accurate for a long time, because this is just the 5th day of the month.
But he ran it on the 3rd.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's a
but it
couple.
still should be, but the budget numbers are gonna be wrong.
Yes.
Because if you run it through March, you've got 9 months of a budget number instead of 8.
Well, and also remember too, we run a month behind as far as the bills and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about that once before, so, but yes.
But a financial statement should have numbers as of the date at the top of the financial
Yes.
statement.
I will, we'll get Anthony here to get him on that for the next one.
But Lonnie, you don't have any budgetary concerns at this point, anything that you might see as a miss by the time we get to the end of the year?
Not as a overall, like you said, maybe some individual line items, but not.
You've got them covered in other products?
Right.
Yeah, and we will probably be tad bit off on revenue. We won't know until we get a little closer.
so we had a $1.29 million debt service payment in this year. Where we at? How much, I didn't see where it tells me how much debt we have left.
So that debt pays off in 2028, and I can bring the debt service information to you.
I was thinking that it did.
It does.
It wouldn't be on these, because
No.
these revenues
Well, and two, the other thing that we're gonna do moving forward is as new subdivisions or things are accepted into the city, those numbers of, what the developer put in the ground, from pumps to pipe to whatever, will come to this board for approval, and then it will go, into finance. And that's something we haven't done, but according to some of the stuff in our book, those things should come here for approval so that you're aware that they need to be added. And so we're gonna get that straightened out in the coming months.
Didn't that, the works program, didn't that keep up with that, isn't that part of it?
Yes, sir. City works, yeah, we're still in the infant
That
status.
was one reason.
Put it in service, so we're working to it.
It is, and then, see, what'll happen is like that whole subdivision, the developer will come in and tell you, hey, I spent X amount of dollars putting all the sewer and water lines in that I'm gonna give you.
Right.
Then that's when, once you approve it, we'll put it into asset management.
Right.
But the things that they go out and do internally and all those, yes, they'll start to be showing up all the time. But big developments and things are treated just a tad bit different.
Right. But the development that, when it needs repairs and replacement, we're replacing it.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So,
Yep.
we'll take that into account.
Yep.
Budget, water loss report. Lonnie,
It's
did you,
in your package that we're at 10% for this month,
how much?
10.35.
Ken? Yeah.
That's his goal, ain't it, too?
And we'll get there, we have identified some areas, I'm still looking forward to moving forward with the leak audit, just with a different company. I got some fields out now trying to find who would be beneficial for this area. Nobody was gonna do like what we had, do a walk each line,
Yeah.
each street, but we'll get something there.
Is he gonna be out of commission for a long time?
Well, last time I talked to him, yeah, a while. So we'll move forward with another company, but, I have an area that we're gonna focus on here. I've been questioning staff and trying to get a good understanding of the industrial park area, with these master meter and meters that are inside, because it appears that that area is where we're seeing the loss.
Well, that brings up something, back when we had the freeze and all, the big leak and everybody was worried about that. Did y'all look at how much were we losing water at Hillsville? Did they have leak? Because obviously, or did you take that into account?
We did, all of the surrounding areas actually, looked and talked, and there was nothing significant enough to put something that big out.
Okay.
Hillsville might have had a few leaks, we had a few, so, I mean, it was taken into consideration, but nothing just outside of the normal, we say, point of finger, and say that was it right there.
Okay.
I believe even one of the tanks here recently, or a couple of weeks ago maybe, overflowed, we caught it, and so that would have to be taken into
So,
consideration.
I mean, if Hillsville, if they have a leak, it would increase our average daily use from Duck River because of what we're buying from.
But we sell it to the master meter, so we would call it.
Yeah, I know, but it's still been, that's what I'm saying, if you would take that into account. Some, yeah, but I'm talking about what the public was aware of. The internet experts. Okay. Okay, any new business, you may already cover. Already covered that. Does anybody else? Comments?
show me kind of guy. And every one we get, I go out with the guy that, let me see, is it grease, is this, what is going on? And besides this manhole to make it crump. And for us just to drive off and say, well, it's crump. That keeps me up at night. I mean, maybe nobody else, but at least it keeps me up trying to figure how to fix it. And the simplest thing, like I tell people, we don't want to be the smartest people in the room, but my common sense says that the pipe got a hole in it. I'm gonna fix the hole. It may be undersized, it may be, you know, all the other, I don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. It's a hole in it, let's fix it. And then later on, if it has to be engineered up, or, that's fine, but the hole is no longer there. And water's not getting in, it's doing what it's designed to do. And that sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many people fighting on that.
I'll tell you, Lonnie, the best thing I've heard out of these meetings is chronic means we gave up. And let's not give up.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
But I honestly believe, like I said, the mayor done a good job as far as the mayor to the board, letting us know what direction we're going. And I think we're gonna work forward.
Well, I think we've got a lot of good dedicated employees. I mean, citywide, but I mean, we're more connected to water and sewer. I think all of them do a good job.
And we're building up there, we are rebuilding the team up to what I think it needs to be. You know, I saw, when I came here, we were low, and throughout transition, we got smaller and smaller. And I think people forget that, you know, we're not the biggest department. And that's the first for me. I've always been, water and sewer has always been the largest, just because that's just how it's designed to be. And we've always been number one at what we do. So to come here and see the department dwindle down and kind of just take a line out of it, you know, you go from 5 crews to 4 to 3 to 2 down to 1.5, and at some point, hey, we gotta start restocking. What's going on? We can't just keep moving like we're moving. And I think that has happened here lately. We're building back up. It's gonna take time. I don't wanna just put a body in place. I mean, it's easy to go out and hire a body, but a skilled person who knows how to come in and do the work, that takes time for you to decipher through it and look. And, you know, I'm not from here, so I don't have cousins in town, and I don't have a
That's a good
brother-in-law who has,
That's a good
you know, I mean, who has a whatever, but, I mean, I wish I did. I could bring them all over, but I don't have that, so, you know, trying to pick through to make sure we get the right people and trying to, like I said, all the time, turn the image around of this department. While it's tough, it is a challenge that I accept, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. And I expect to be held accountable, every step of the way, and he does. I mean, the mayor's not my friend, like I tell everybody. He's not my friend.
He's heard that before.
At the end of the day, when I'm on the phone call, you know, I don't ask for favors, I just, you know, he asked me to get something done, we get it done. I bring my concern to him, he tells me yea or nay, or gives me some advice on how we should move forward, because I'm very, even my own guy tells me, you know, I guess I don't think it through, I'm ready to go. You know, let's get to work, I don't, you know, who cares about the rainy season in my mind? But then here may be 30 inches of rain one day, so, and I'm not used to working in snow, so snow, like, what is this? You slow me down, I don't want to snow.
I'm gonna give you a short example, and I can tell the mayor of this right here. The other night, when I was sitting up here at the recycling board meeting, and you addressed that we have 2,200 man-hours. That number just amazed me.
That's bunch of that.
Because I sit there and I go, yes, there is. And I didn't realize the number and the quantity of them.
200 of them are on my place.
Yeah, I guess you're right. take that, and as far as direction.
When did they start tearing down houses?
Next question, you gotta hold it. Yeah. So,
I was following.
Yeah.
All right, you got it.
I was gonna say something, but Donnie just took up all the time.
I apologize.
You ain't got nothing.
Donnie got it.
Terrence? Zach?
I took a tour of the wastewater plant a couple of weeks ago, and they said it's a good tour, in terms of the experience for us. And one of the things I got was just those differences in how much the plant is designed for and how much it gets when there's nothing wrong. You know, and at first, it's a good asset for the city, that we highlighted that the plant has a lot of capacity, and aside from next week's growth issue, that's a different topic I don't mention it. Just that the fact that there's this lot of unused capacity is an asset for the city to utilize, because I guess that there was an estimate of $50 million for a new plant versus having, 2 million gallons of unused capacity at the present time. So that was a takeaway from the tour, and also was just the fact that the intake part is such problems, and there I read, I think 2 or 3 items were not working. So that was highlighted in our contract, so that it was a good tour, and at some point I'd like to do some job around with some improved just on collection systems, just to get a physical feel.
I would appreciate you getting involved and going down there and just let Lonnie know, and we'll get you a pair of boots and a hard hat and get you out there.
Well, the one that brought up expanding the plant years ago was when the mega site, when they first looked at that, their estimate was 6 million gallons a day. We couldn't handle that. That's why there was an engineering study done on that. That's been a few years ago.
And Adam, I'm correct, right? If we move where we discharge to a bigger pool, we could go up 2 more million gallons, but that would be the max of what we could ever
We've
discharge.
actually got to run a separate line, don't we, or not?
Yeah, if you wanna move the discharge further down the river, then yes, you'd have to run a different line.
Separate, that's what I remember, Bill Rich.
And so the I-24 mega site, I mean, there's been a lot of concessions made on what those guys are gonna entertain going in out there. It'll probably be 4 to 5 different sized factories that will not more than likely be automotive, because we can't handle those flows.
Right.
They're looking more toward aerospace, to where it's bathrooms and running water but
Yeah.
But they have committed a fair amount of money, for us to start having a conversation on what that looks like. And then they also understand from that study that, for us as a city to function, we can't give all of our capacity to them and have no growth. And they understand that just the sheer amount of jobs and those things, that they're gonna be willing to invest in our sewer systems, at the plant, at collections. And that's what part of the study is gonna help them understand, is what is their investment gonna have to be in Manchester. They're not gonna just leave it to our residents and to us to find all that. The fact that, we're gonna do all that over the next, probably year or so, Adam, I mean, it'd take us a while, that's a pretty big project to undertake. Then we'll be able to start honestly having conversations on what we need. I mean, we probably need to build bigger, intercept lines on out farther. We've got some estimates on that, and we're probably $10 or $11 million to help relieve a lot of problems from the interceptor farther. But there again, once we get that study done, we can have good conversations with the state, and they're on board and understand they're gonna have to invest in us.
That's the $6 million you're talking about earlier.
It's just
That's
engineering.